Hey, g'day trader, Sam here, looking at Matic. Like I said, I'm going to compare Matic with the US dollar against Bitcoin and also against Ethereum, and maybe even compare it to Solana if I got time. So here we have Matic against Ethereum on the weekly chart, and Fibonacci is doing a good job. To explain the story, we got our top all-time high against Ethereum, and we got our bottom, and you can see the golden ratio acted a few times as support and in the range, and again, so it's making it a bit easy to know when to flip, I suppose, from Ethereum to Matic. Right now, nothing concrete, but we can use these moving averages, and so we got the weekly chart. And if we're to look at the indicators, there is a bullish divergence in place, but it's not really kicked off, and we've got to make sure that we use this properly. You can see the MACD, you can see this level from the RSI, so I would think that that will be a good sign for the RSI. Here we go. There we go. That could be a good indicator when we break above that. So it looks like accumulation in a way, and you know what, it makes sense that this is a reversal structure, and we are like to break up to the upside. Now the RSI is doing a good job on the weekly. MACD has already shown a bit of a crossover, and that's why we've got a few weekly candles to the upside, and we'll have a closer look more so. Now here we go. So the weekly candle, we had 3 weeks of green candle, red, and now a bit of green. Let's see what that one is. It's just not the best. Let's just make it black. So that's a weekly 200 EMA. And it's still acting as a resistance. So the 200 weekly EMA is the main resistance. And if you look at many alts, once the 200 weekly EMA is broken, it becomes a good signal to go along, or make at least a scalp trade, or whatever the case may be. But at the moment, it is getting rejected ever so closely. If you look at this, well, it's not there yet, but you can see the 200, and you can see the other moving averages here. They're going to be important. And what are they? Well, we can tell you. Give me a sec. That one is the 100 SMA on the daily. The other one is the 200 SMA. Actually, this one here. Let's get rid of that for a sec. The 20 weekly moving average and the 100 SMA. So I would think that once you break that level, along with the pretty much RSI, if you were to use that, that would be a good sign to go along with Matic against Ethereum. Also, we've got the 618. So I would, in my opinion, the weekly is roughly, you know, we can slightly massage this Fibonacci, but what we have is a weekly level here. If we break above that, that will be a good sign. So you've got a fair bit of resistance. If you're considering to go in there now, it's a bit of a risk, because all it can do is just range, and until it decides when to go. So breaking these moving averages and this level, or the weekly level, once you break above it, that's a good sign, because it's likely to go further up to the next weekly level, and so on. So from Matic against Ethereum, it's doing a good job. In the past, the crossovers were a good confirmation. Some of them are delayed, but in general it is. Now you've got this macro moving average, and you can see how that played a role in some cases. So I would say that when that comes down, that could be next resistance, and so on. So that's my weekly look. Let's look on the daily. Okay, there we go. So that's still acting as resistance. So nothing there yet. And there is no, it's just going sideways. So Matic has lost a lot against Ethereum, but it's come down to a level of support where you probably not convinced to go either way right now. So it's no point of looking at that if you're a Matic fan, which I am. But yeah, I will not add more Ethereum. Obviously we look at Solana as well. We've done that yesterday. So here we go. No trade, basically. Now let's look at Matic against Bitcoin. That looks very bearish against Bitcoin. Now what we can think of is that it will take the previous low. I think it will do that. Sweep below the previous low just over a bit. And we might find some support maybe there. Just by viewing with the eye. Let's have a look at from a Fibonacci perspective. So that was this big drop. Made the mistake of buying or not selling my Matic against Bitcoin. So it's too much work really. So when we do that, let's just add other few fibs. And do we have confluence? Not really. So in the past, that's 2021, it came down 22. Did a real good move, didn't it? So logic says that, yeah, so we had our previous low there and we came down, took the liquidity and then went back up. Logic says that similarly we probably go below this. Let's have a look at that if there's a trend. Let's see how that goes. Chances are that it'll be there or slightly lower, and then that is within our support band there. That's somewhere either there or there. We are likely to then change direction. Right now you probably are better off doing nothing. When you look at that, it's pretty bearish downward momentum, nowhere near to have support, and that would have been a nice shorting position there, wouldn't it? Okay, that would have been 16% or so. Indicators, so on the weekly, MACD's crossover, that's pretty much almost selling climax, but that's not a reversal at all. Let's see any other indicator on the weekly. Yep, that's on the bottom, and no bullishness yet on the weekly, so no reversal yet, no change. So it goes in hand with what I just did on the small time frame. The momentum still to the downside. Now let's look on the daily. Yeah, so very similar before, like the weekly moving averages. I'm still looking for it to go down. We always look for the 3, 1, 2, 3 maybe looking for something like that for a reversal. I still want to see it go below this before I even think of doing a swap. Alright, so that's what I got for against Matic against Bitcoin. Nothing special. Let's look at Matic USDT. And you can see Matic's getting blasted with this. Okay, let's logarithmic settings. Here we go. So weekly, no, let's go to a weekly. It is a reaccumulation pattern, in my opinion. So what price has done, it's very similar to Solana. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We're going to go up. This is reaccumulation, in my opinion. Now let's look at this from a number of perspectives. Previous bottom, I would like to do this, and the golden ratio makes sense there. Okay, there's another way of looking at this. Let's try that. Let me see how this goes. Golden ratio. Yeah, that works. All right. So I'll put my golden ratio up there. So when can we be bullish? When we break this neckline. That is the neckline that is holding us back. So from a Wyckoff perspective, buying climax, second up thrust, and nothing. So we're fizzling down, and its chances are that we still come down lower and then up. Based on that, there is nothing really to trade with yet. I like the idea. This might have been a real good sell. You can see how the previous price when it came, that is known as the base of the neckline or the distribution. So we are, but it also can be a reaccumulation as well. So it does interest me to long from here. There's a lot of downward pressure. The moving averages are all pushing it down. So there could be a shorting position there and further down. So I'm still interested in this level, 30 cents or so. Bummer. So Matic's not ready yet to really change direction. And I think people hodling it makes it harder to, or delayed. So if it does come down there, I think it will be a good position to go long, especially if it just wicks underneath there. Look for the wick. That'll be a nice position if it comes down. Now that is on the weekly and indicators we discussed. Let's look on the 3-day for a sec. So we have another level here. Previous bottom was skipped below it, and now we've got this neckline. That will be, chances are that we'll break that. Where's the good entry? Don't know. We've got to wait. But once, so we've got a number of touches on the bottom. So if price was to break below that, that would be a good position to short the range. Could go like that, or just straight up. But that if it does break this down, we'll look for that. If it goes and regains that level, then go long. So if it drops below this level and regains it, you can go long. Well, we see these moving averages coming. Otherwise, if it looks weak, is short, and you could take out some of that liquidity there. So the longs have come in there, so we can potentially look for that level as well for liquidity, because a lot of long, that was lucky for a lot of people. That probably was the bottom, like Solana as well. So it might not come down there, but there is some longs coming in here, and open interest potentially is there. So I'm looking at 40 cents range, 30 to 40 cents range as a potential buy to go long. And that's what I have, guys, for Matic. Please give me a like and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.